Sully, do you hear all these geeks out here hollering, we want Michael, we want Michael? Nobody wants Michael. You know, Michael Hayes, I hope you're around somewhere listening, because I got something I got to tell you, and I want you to listen good. You know, boy, you forgot where you come from. You know, you forgot who took you down all them roads. And you forgot who took you up all them ladders. But you know something, Gordon? I heard Michael Hayes out here last week, and he had the nerve to issue me a challenge. Well, let me tell you something, Michael Hayes. Like I told you last week, boy, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. I don't want my family to have nothing to do with you. But let me tell you, Michael Hayes, I do have somebody that will have something to do with you. And he will take good care of you. Like I said, boy, I don't want to get my hands dirty on you, because I know if I ever get a hold of you, Michael Hayes, I will get them dirty. And they'll be a dirty red, too. Because, boy, I would just like to mess your face up. But like I said, Gordon Soley, you know, I got a man here, and I paid him some good money. I paid him $1,000. Come in here, brother. This man right here is a top man all over the world. He's been in the Madison Square Gardens. And he took Bruno Sammartino to an hour when Bruno was the world's champion. So Michael Hayes, this man don't mind getting his hands dirty. And he's going to take care of you right here on Nationwide TV. Well,
the sound of the Freebird, and Michael Hayes, the fabulous Freebird, enters the ring. Michael Hayes going up against El Toro in a special challenge match issued by Terry Gordy. Gordy admitting that he has paid this man El Toro the sum of $1,000 to put Michael Hayes out of action. And Michael Hayes enters the ring. One fall, 10-minute time limit, last-minute instructions by Terry Gordy. Now, say what you will about Michael Hayes, but take a good look at this man. A very, very powerfully built man. He's an outstanding athlete, has competed in athletics all through his high school career, multi-talented. And now facing El Toro. Now, you'll look at El Toro. It's obvious El Toro will have an experienced edge. And their collar and elbow back into the turnbuckle, and it is both men squaring off. El Toro, after the throw of Michael Hayes, catches him with a forearm on the break, and Michael Hayes retaliates. Michael Hayes suddenly exploding on El Toro now. Whips him into that far turnbuckle that rocked the ring. And Michael Hayes inviting him back out. El Toro, a paid henchman. A bounty hunter, if you will. And as Hayes started to move in, El Toro lashed out with his foot twice, caught him. Stung him that time, but Hayes stung him right back. Off the ropes, Hayes has a high backdrop. Terry Gordy outside the ring continues to issue strategy to El Toro. Had Hayes' tension diverted a moment, and El Toro seized that opportunity. Closed in, ripped across the eyes. And Hayes swinging wildly now as his vision has become obscured. The chant has been picked up by the crowd here. Let's go, Michael, let's go. Hayes twice with a boot to the midsection, 3 and 4 times, 5 times now into the chest. 6 times it puts El Toro down, and Hayes down with that elbow. El Toro rolled away to one side. And El Toro uncorks the right hand to the head of Michael Hayes. Say what you will about Hayes, I'm still not absolutely sure about the man. Although one thing I will say about him that is consistent, he has always, if you will, telegraphed exactly who he was after. And you could pretty well count on the fact that he would pursue that goal until he accomplished it. If he tells you he's after a certain individual, he'll pursue it until he does accomplish that fact. And he has said now, of course, he wants Terry Gordy. But if he has to go through El Toro to get to him, he's perfectly willing to do it. And you'll note here, Hayes using every tactic possible. He'll take those shortcuts. El Toro powers him out before the count of 3. Back on their feet once again. And it is El Toro catching Hayes by the throat. Terry Gordy shouting encouragement to El Toro. El Toro, another forearm into the chest of Michael Hayes. Another forearm across the chest of Hayes. Nick Patrick, the referee, watching carefully now, and Hayes retaliates. Hayes now beginning to move a little more effectively. Catches with an elbow coming off the ropes. And it is Hayes exuding some confidence now. He bulldogs El Toro to the canvas. Hayes closes in on him again. Sets him for the pile driver. Has him up as the pile driver. El Toro able to pull that head out slightly, but to no avail. So Michael Hayes gains the pinfall on El Toro, and now adding a little more. Terry Gordy charges the ring. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes in a wild Pier Sixer now. Fists are flying as both men mixing it up. And Terry Gordy now being beaten backwards, and now both men back on the canvas, and it is Terry Gordy. Now has Hayes down. Now it's Hayes on top of Terry Gordy, pounding away at the head of Terry Gordy. El Toro outside the ring, still trying to recoup, and it is Gordy now crashing into the midsection, ripping across the face of Michael Hayes. And it is Terry Gordy trying to set Michael Hayes for a pile driver. Michael Hayes breaks it up. Hayes back in, gets a side headlock, goes for the bulldog on Terry Gordy. And now Hayes sets Gordy for the pile driver. And wait a minute. Superfly Snuka catches Michael Hayes from behind, and now Michael Hayes battling it out with Superfly Snuka and Terry Gordy, and now it's 2-on-1. They have Hayes outside the ring. Snuka and Terry Gordy punishing Michael Hayes on that concrete outside the ring. And Hayes in a lot of trouble now. Hayes hurdled back into the ring, and Snuka and Terry Gordy after him once again. And they are grinding his face in the mat. And that's one thing. Hayes has that tremendous ego regarding his facial features and his hair. And they are heaping the ultimate insult on Michael Hayes. And they are burning his face into the mat. Wait a second. Ted DiBiase, Tommy Rich, Mr. Wrestling 2 have all entered the ring. And we'll be back as soon as we get order restored. We'll be back in just a moment.
Match.